Hello and welcome to episode 124. We are on the brink of a new year. And as always, we're like, holy, where did the year go? Probably because of the Mandela effect. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up. Our timelines changed in 2012 and the world sped up. That's why everything goes so fast. It's not because we're getting older. It's actually because our whole reality changed. As I say, for fun, if you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. It's actually a really interesting concept. But back on path here. It is the verge of 2026. If you're anything like me, you remember being like, oh my goodness, what's it going to be like in 1999? And could not even imagine a world into the 2000s. And here we are, it's 26 years later, and we're still here. The world is still cruising along, and it is still true that the reality that we're living in is really the reality that we create for ourselves. And we still have the opportunity to live in the space that we choose to live in. Although, like, holy, has everything changed in the last 10 years. So, today we just really want to talk about looking back and looking forward. We've got a really cool workshop that we are launching. It's going to be on January the 11th, which is a Sunday, and we're going to host it at 2 p.m. MST, which for Ginny is 4 p.m. EST. And for those of you in other time zones, you guys know where you are in relation to that. Check out your world clock, and if it's the middle of the night, we'd love for you to stay up for it, but we will also record it and we will put it into the subscription in Substack. So buy us a coffee, join our paid subscription, and it will be in there behind the paywall. This is a free event. If you register for it, we will send you the recording. If you don't register for it, it will be behind that paywall. It's going to be an hour-long workshop, and it's going to be all about getting out of your own way. Start trusting yourself. Because if we can start trusting ourselves at the beginning of the year, then we are going to achieve everything that we want to achieve. So what we're going to talk about today is why future visioning is a thing, what it is and what it isn't, and also why it's important to look back as well as forward. And, we've talked about this a lot. We love to talk about celebrating our wins, whether they have happened or not. And we might just bleed into a little bit of gratefulness stuff. And in our last episode, we talked about that whole concept that you get to create magic, right? And those last 4 episodes have really distilled down everything else that we have been talking about over the year. At the end of the day, riding in the weeds is about getting out of your own way. It's about crossing the finish line. It's about creating trust with yourself, because you know there's going to be sticky spots. You know that there's times when you're going to get stuck. You're going to feel like you're lost in the weeds, and you're not going to know where you're going if you don't have a North Star. If you don't know how you want to feel at the end of the day, the end of the month, the end of the year, then that makes it really hard to find the trail again, right? If you have a roadmap, if you have a general direction that you are going, a general feeling that you want to have, you've got something to come back to. And I am the first one to say that, like, where in the world is Natasha going to be? But I have a North Star and I do know the general direction I'm going. This time last year, I thought that I was going to be on a farm for the next couple of years. And that wasn't to be. And I am so grateful that I am not on that farm right now. And I am so incredibly grateful for everything that has happened between now and then. Put it on your calendar. It is going to be January the 11th, 2 p.m. We will be creating a landing page for you to sign up for it. And we can't wait to see you there. So I'm Natasha Lockie. Why I get to talk about this stuff is because I'm a business builder. I started out as a life coach, mountain bike coach. I have taught mountain biking for over 16, 17 years. I've built up a mountain biking business. I've built 3 businesses from scratch, and I know what you need to do to stay on track, to make the things happen that you want to have happen. And I also know what it means to be flexible, to allow for opportunities to come and go. And so what I do now is I help you create what you need to create to get your dreams into reality. And I'm really good at the tech stack. So you want to build an online course, I gotcha. You want to build a website for your business, super simple. I'm not here for the big stuff. I'm here for just that simple. Let's get you going, get you crossing the line so that this can be the year where you promote your things and you create the income that you want to have. And I am here with my amazing co-host, Jenny Brandon, who always brings the perspective to the show. And I'll let her introduce herself and we will get rolling.
Yeah, I am Jenny Brandon. I'm an animal communicator and energy healer for animals and their people too. If you are having any struggles with your pet relationships, whether that is behavior challenges, emotional challenges, or just want to get to know your pet better, that is a great reason to have a session together so we can look for more ways to bring harmony back into your life.
Okay, so what are we doing? We're going to make this pretty short and snappy because you're planning a party. You got things to do today. It's the verge of the new year. So, the first thing I want you to just take a moment and I want you to think about where you were 12 months ago. Like today, 12 months ago, where were you? What did it feel like? What did it smell like? Where were you sitting? Were you on a chairlift? Were you on a beach? Where were you? And what were you thinking about? What was the goals? What did you want to create for the next 12 months? I just want you to take a moment to be in that space. And then I want you to fast forward and I want you to actually think about what did you create? If you can pull 3 wins that you had happen over the last 12 months, what were they? You've got a notebook, write them down, pull out your phone, open your notes app, write down the 3 things that pop into your mind right now that you want to celebrate. What magic happened? And if you can think of 10, sure, write down 10. But I really want you to just find those 3 key things that you can be like, wow, yeah, that happened. I did that. That changed. And then I'm going to allow you the space to look at 3 challenges that you overcame. Let's just acknowledge some of the hard stuff you had to overcome, that you made it through. And I know you made it through because you're here now. Hey, you didn't go anywhere. You're still here. So what did you overcome? And it might have been really hard, but you overcame it. And then if you can you give me another 3 wins that you can see that came out of those 3 challenges? So at the end of this, we got 9. We got 3 things that pop out immediately that you can be like, yeah, did that. I said I was going to, and that happened. And 3 things that you can be like, whew, that was hard. I wasn't sure if I was going to make it through that, or that sucked. I wish that hadn't happened. And then out of those 3 things, they can be the same as the first 3. If they overlap, that's totally fine. But what were 3 things that it's like, yeah, out of that challenge, this is where my strength came from. This is what I want to celebrate, because I really want you to come out of that challenge concept and be able to be in a space of like, let's celebrate the outcomes of the challenge. And because we like to be interactive here, Jenny, can you give me like 1 from each of those categories?
Mm. Um, 12 months is a long time when you start thinking about this.
It really is.
It really is. I think my biggest win is just making some progress overall in my business. I took the Train Your Body to Write workshop with Laura Michelle and had some coaching with her, and that was a really awesome sort of growth period. And I feel like I made some pretty big shifts that are the kind of shifts that are difficult to articulate what just happened. And so that's kind of how I know that they're probably really, really good. And I may never be able to articulate that clearly, but they feel pretty deep. So I think that's probably my biggest win overall business wise this year. Biggest challenge, I'm just going to go with the whole roof debacle because it's still pretty fresh. And I feel like we're still sort of decompressing from all of November. And of course, here we are finishing out December. And that's still kind of fresh, it feels like. And I guess the intensity of having to go straight from that challenge into Thanksgiving holiday and then all the December holidays, it's been hard. That was probably the biggest thing that challenged me. The biggest win coming out of that challenge, though, was discovering a really good contractor, even though they flooded my house. But they took care of the problem right away. And then we found that they're going to be able to help us with a bunch of other stuff in the house. And being able to finally do our dream of getting the porch on the house, that was a big deal. That's something we literally dreamed about 8 years ago when we bought the house. Being able to finally realize that dream is pretty wild to me. And then that also meant that I finally got to decorate my house all pretty for the holidays, exactly how I had envisioned it 8 years ago. And so that was a pretty awesome outcome of all of that struggle, I think, was really the end of that piece, was being able to, in a way, it's a little bit of closure, I guess, from, like I said, all of that intensity coming through November and everything. All right, so you got to give me your now.
Okay, I'll give you my 3, but before that, I just want you to wrap that up while it's still fresh in your mind, and everybody else as well. Looking at those things, is there a feeling that you can give, like contentment or satisfaction, or like, can you put a feeling and a win kind of like in that space? Because if we can do that, then that really allows us to not do a laundry list into our future visioning and have it be more of like a feeling based. Like, how do we want to feel?
Based on those 2 wins, and I'm not sure this is probably the best feeling word, but I would say growth.
Yeah, I like that.
Because growth, to me, it's a little bit like that feeling when you've gone to the gym and you've worked out kind of hard. There's a tiredness, there's a sort of wrung outness a little bit, but overall there's that positive, like, strengthening feeling that goes with it. So I would call that growth, I think, that both of those experiences, one is business and one is personal / environmental, that they both feel like growth a bit to me. So
I like that.
yeah, I think that's what I'd call it.
Growth looks, that works. Okay, so for me, I'm going to say that my big win I'm going to put a name on is, it was really beginning of January, end of January, that I was like, enough is enough. I'm going to consistently bring yoga into my world. And I'm going to say, other than the last few weeks where I've fallen off track a little bit, but I did put a hole in my leg, so yoga for the last week has not been an option. That's going to be a big one. And for me and my husband, actually, I didn't just bring yoga into my life. I actually brought it into both of our lives, and there isn't a day that goes past that he's not celebrating his fire log pose and how he's getting closer and how much it's really expanded both of us. I'm going to claim that as our kind of most consistent challenges. The biggest challenge that we've really worked through, and I say we because it has been a year of the 2 of us really hunkering in together, has been, we're out on our own. We sold the mountain bike business, and it's been just this like, what now? And that was really, really scary at the end of last year. I had no idea what this was going to look like and what's next. And there's a lot of grief that still is there from things not working out the way that I wanted them to do. And I'm going to say the challenge of trying new things and the challenge of going the wrong way last year. And everything that we did has been great, but I learned a lot from hiding, and it was a unique challenge, and like, let's see what happens here going to the farm. But if I was to go back and talk to myself this time last year, I would be like, don't do it. Don't do that. Keep going south because that's where you really want to be. And I think there was a bit of growth that got stunted there, but at the same time, there was a lot of space that got created, because it's very easy to focus on that yoga stuff when you're inside a lot of the time, right? So that we had a house, we had a space, it made it very easy. There wasn't a lot of distractions. So that would probably be my biggest challenge. And then having to switch direction when I thought that I knew where I was going, and then for that to have changed. And we managed it just so gracefully. And I think there's been a lot of self-discovery from going from being my own boss, and I'm still my own boss, and really being forced into, okay, you've wanted to do something different for a really long time, and now you've got to put your money where your mouth is. And coming out of 3 experiences where I feel like the universe is really saying, look, this is the direction that you want to go. Like, sure, we'll give you these options as well, but there's something bigger for you. And so I'm going to say my win coming out of the challenges have been really starting to find my feet. I'm here to help people get out of their own way. I can build courses. I've built an incredible library of courses for the Living Values Education community. I've really been able to step into my ability to consult. And when I first thought about this, it was like, okay, you give me your course, I'll put it into the program. But that's not it. You give me what you want for a website, I'll put it up on the website. Nope, that's not it, because I want to help you get out of your own way. And the type of person that needs to get out of their own way doesn't have everything ready. They actually need more of that support, and just really knowing that I have the ability. Like my dad said to me the other day, he was just like, you are really, really good at this. And Laura Michelle said to me the other day, she's like, the way that you put the data together and the way that you look at these things and put it together is really awesome. And so learning to stand in that and be like, okay, I can do this. I have more to offer than just a mountain bike coach. And I can take these incredible skills that I learnt whilst building up businesses. And then my last one, and I'm still working on this, is being able to confidently be like, dude, I created a business in a space where I was making over $500,000 a year, and I created that out of absolutely nothing. I've managed over 20 different mountain biking coaches. I've managed admin staff, store staff. I've managed drivers. The things that I have been able to do, all just from nothing. I taught myself everything, and I did all of that. And really starting to ground into just how capable I really am and how much I did, and just celebrate myself, and leaning into that feeling of, I don't know, is accomplishment a feeling, or it's really starting to like feel like I'm a strong, capable person that can really create whatever I want, and I have the skills. I don't know, is that confidence, or I've never been great with putting
I
feelings on things. I'm good at asking other people to do it.
and that's something I tend to be pretty good about. So I think confidence is a good word for it. But also I feel like there's a bit of an embodiment feeling
Yeah, okay.
that like
Yep.
it almost feels like you're stepping into yourself
Yep.
in a way that you haven't before. Because you have, in the 3 years that we've been podcasting together, you have been in a journey of transition. And sometimes it's like the seed in the dark, right? Like if you find yourself in the dark struggling, it's probably because you were planted. Like, it's kind of felt like for you, these last couple of years have been a bit of the being planted,
Mm-hmm.
and that now you're really coming into that new layer of yourself. And
Yep.
so, like I said, it feels a bit more like an embodiment in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think confidence or embodiment are both good words
Yeah.
to reflect that feeling for you. That's awesome.
And then a lot of shedding. There's been a lot of shedding. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
that goes along with the territory, I think.
the snake. Okay, so let's move forward. And so within this workshop, what we're going to do is we're going to take some time to actually write our future vision. And the reason why the future vision is important is because if you're going on a road trip, you need to know where you're going. You need a North Star. But what they also talk about is a goal is great, but we don't want to hold too tightly to the goal. We want to have that North Star, that vision, that idea of where we want to be. We want to know what it's going to feel like. We want to really be in that space, because when we're being grateful, we can be grateful for the things that are coming for us as opposed to the grateful for the things that we have. Then we're able to expand. We're showing the universe where we want to go versus that we're happy settling with what we have. Thank you for the 3 new clients that I've just gotten versus thank you for the 1 client I have, right? Gratefulness comes from being able to know what you want to feel, what you have coming down the pipeline. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be there if you're not exactly where you said you were going to be in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. As long as you've moved from where you are to somewhere else. Because like I was telling Jenny, when we get in our camper, like, yeah, we know where we're starting and we know where we want to end up. And I sit down and I write, on this day we'll be here, and then we're going to leave there, and we're going to go here, and then we're going to leave there. And on about day 4, it's either I don't want to stay here for 2 days, let's go. Or, hey, you know what? We said we'd be here for 2 days, but this is really nice. Let's stay for another couple. Or, I know we were going to go that way, but the mountain bike trails are really good over here. We'll generally end up in the place where we said we were going to end up, but we definitely go off track and different opportunities come up. And being able to let go of what you thought was going to happen and allow the flow of life to present you with opportunities that you can be like, oh, well, I'm not really sure, but yes, to see what actually is going to happen. It just allows us to expand and grow in ways that we couldn't even imagine when we were writing that future vision.
Yeah.
And then we get to, at the end of the next year, look at what we said we were going to do and where we wanted to be and what that was going to feel like, and realize that we went so much further. And maybe we didn't go as far as we said we were going to go, but something happened along the way that detoured us. But yet out of that was a whole lot of goodness, because there's always goodness, even though it sometimes doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, I love it.
So I guess just really quickly here, because I said this was going to be quick. If you were going to take 30 seconds to a minute, what would one thing that you would put into your, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that this happened. Like, we've transported into the future. It's the end of 2026. Jenny, you got one thing. What is your, oh my God, Tash, you will never believe. ...
I want to be able to see more consistency in my business in terms of how I run my structure. And I guess along with that, the results that I get, the clarity that I have around it. Um, 2025 was definitely, I think per the numbers, it was my second strongest year that I've had in business in the 8 or 9 years I've been in business. So I feel pretty good about 2025 on the whole, but I want to see that continue to expand in 2026 into a much more solid foundation, I think is what I want the feeling to be of, is really having more of a solid um, feeling or foundation around all of it at that point. So that, I think, is probably the quick version of where I'm looking to go in the next 12 months.
Okay, so let's like take it out of the freaking real world. What does it feel like to be Jenny at the end of 2026?
Like I said, there's a solidness. And I think it's probably along the same vein as your like confidence slash embodiment. That's where it feels like it's going, is that sort of like deep, almost rooted would be a word that would come up. Like a really solid, grounded, connected, um, feeling. Yeah, I'm not sure how to describe it other than like really solid. Which
Okay.
I know that's probably not as clear, but I can feel that.
Mm-hmm.
It almost feels like there's a structure to stand on in a way, if that makes any sense.
Yep. No, that sounds good. Okay. So for me, it's a space of, oh my God, I can't believe that we are building our dream house in Mexico. That I feel like I really belong in this space and that this is where we're going to be. And then the fact that we're able to work from anywhere in the world. So when we want to be in a different climate, we can just go there. I'm so excited for the fact that we've been able to spend time in the Kootenays and mountain biking and being with our friends there. I'm so excited that we've been able to set up trips to go and spend a couple of days snowboarding over the next winter. I'm no longer wondering how to do it and really stepping into that, wow, I actually made all those things happen. Our podcast is off the charts with downloads. I have the most amazing clients that I'm working with as far as building courses out for them. And I'm just so excited by the courses that I'm teaching myself in helping people get out of their own way and out of their own heads and creating the life that they want to create. And super excited for the retreats that I've hosted already and that will be hosting coming up in the next couple of months here, and just how exciting and I am for the people that are coming to these experiences and that feeling of yeah, I like solidness and just embodiment and confidence. I think that it's grown so much in the space of 12 months, and just no longer am I wondering how to be those people I see online, but that I am actually one of them. I feel
I love that.
like I really belong to myself inside of these groups of successful people, as opposed to having to be like, well, if I look at what I've done, I can feel successful. Like, it's there. I know it. I don't have to convince myself with the statistics. It's just actually really inside of me. And so much of that stuff still comes up. There's always weeds, but it's more grounded and solid and present for me.
I like it. I
So,
think it's kind of cool that for both of us, it's basically a continuation of the feelings in 2025. It's
totally.
just an expansion of and a deeper level of the feelings in 2025. I feel like that is an indication of being on the right track
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah.
Like when all you're looking for is just an expansion of what you've already got, like that feels really good.
Absolutely. And for those of you listening, I'm sure you're smart people. You've got this. Just do a little snapshot. Same as what we just did there. Just, it doesn't have to be big, but just take a moment. If there was one or two sentences that you can really step into, you're a year from now. How does this feel? You're doing the same exercise we just did with 2025, and you're doing it at the end of 2026. And even if you want to come into that one win, let's not talk about the struggles that we've overcome. Let's just go with, what does it feel like to be you 12 months from now? And so with our future visioning workshop, it's going to be grounded in the getting out of your own way. So what you can look forward to is spending an hour with us where we will just talk about what it looks like to future vision, the kind of philosophy, the sciences behind it. And then we're going to give you space to actually write this vision out. It'll be a period of time where you are writing. Pen doesn't come off the paper. You just go until we tell you to stop. And then once we get to the end of that, we've got an exercise that'll allow you to distill that down into real action and what that action looks like. And then we're going to use the processes that we've talked about on this podcast over and over again, and we're going to distill it down into something that you can actually feel like you can be held accountable for. And then if you're wanting to have more support coming out of that, we've got opportunities for that. But you will walk away from this workshop with a clear outline and plan for how you can get from where you are right now to being able to have that conversation in 2026. So January the 11th at 1 o'clock PST, 2 o'clock MST, 3 o'clock CST, 4 o'clock EST, and whatever time that is and whatever time zone you are in. If you are not in a time zone where that actually is going to work for you to be awake and present for, but I think if you're in New Zealand and Australia, that actually works. If you sign up, we will send you the recording. If you do not sign up for it, the recording will be behind the paywall. And if you are wanting to support our podcast, wanting to support what we're doing, we have a paid subscription option in Substack. This year is the year where there's going to be a whole lot of really cool stuff going into that. So it's going to be worthwhile. But just to start with, it's just like buying us a cup of coffee, supporting what we are producing here and what we're putting out. If you like our podcast, if you like what we're doing, we would love to see you on the other side of that subscription. So thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you so much for taking time out of your New Year's Eve to listen. Obviously, if you're listening after New Year's Eve, Happy New Year. You made it through. We got through another year. Congratulations. I think we can all just say that we are winning because we are still here. We're still moving forward. And whatever happens, whatever detours we've taken, we're still on the path and the road. And everything that we do to move forward is helping us grow, helping us expand. Unless you're giving up, you're still winning. Always. Each and every day. So, yeah. Do you have any last words to say there, Jenny, before we wrap this up?
I don't think so. I think that's about it. Looking forward to seeing everybody at the workshop.
Yeah, absolutely. And you will find the sign up for it is going to be on Writing in the Weeds. You will also find it on My Betty Go Hard. You're going to find it on the Substack at Writing in the Weeds. You are going to find it Natasha Lucky on Facebook, or send us a message if you can't find it and we will let you know. It will, of course, be in the show notes down below. Because you're watching, it's going to be easy to find. So we really look forward to seeing you there. I am Natasha Lucky, business builder, strategist, consultant, and I'm just your girl. If you want to get out of your own way, I've done a lot of that. I know how to do it. So hit me up and let's make your dreams happen. So yeah, Jenny, over to you.
Yeah, I'm Jenny Brandon. I'm an animal communicator and energy healer for animals and their people too. If you are struggling with your pet relationship, whether that's emotional challenges, behavioral challenges, or you just want to get to know your pet better, that's a great reason to reach out. You can find me on the web at soulpetconnections.com and on Substack, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook under the same handle. So thank you so much for hanging on through this wild ride through the weeds today and for the past year. We have enjoyed having you along and we look forward to seeing you again next time.
Thanks, everybody. Have a fabulous new year.